In today's video, we're going to troubleshoot my Axis amplifiers. Alrighty guys, so what I'm doing right now is I'm going through the DC Axis drive tuning procedure. I was working with the guys over at CNCPros, formerly Fadal CNC. You can see I got the program going right now. They go through pretty in depth on what to go through. I'll try and show a screenshot of the pages so that you guys can reference it. You can pause it throughout the video so you can see it. But I was trying to deal with some weird dimensions when I was interpolating holes when machining. And so doing that and working with the guys over at CNCPros, and I wrote that program and it's been running. You can notice here, I got all three amps. I got X, Y, and Z. And you can see when it goes in one direction and then another, you can see that Y-axis changes color. Go one more time so you can see it. But in doing so, one of the next things I want to do is swap that Y-axis over to either the X or the Z so I can see if the problem follows it or doesn't, because that'll help me determine if it's a motor issue or something else. So I wanted to document this so you guys, who might have similar issues could follow along. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to stop the program, and then I'm going to go swap the amplifier over, and I'll show you guys what tools you need to do that. So give me a minute and I'll come right back. Alrighty, so I got the machine all turned off. I got the three amplifiers right here, and here's the one that's in question, my Y-axis. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I put an X on there. That way I knew when I switched it, where it belonged. I guess X maybe not the best option when I have, the X-axis and the Y-axis, but I know that the X is the one that's in question, and I'm probably going to be replacing that one. Keep in mind too, when you look at these, make sure you take note of where the wires are. You got black and red here, white and brown, and then coming up here you got some labeled wires, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 right there. I don't know if you can see it. And then each of these bundles, here, here, and here, they're all labeled to Z-axis, Y-axis, X-axis. Is that one that labeled for X-axis? Anyways, that one is for X-axis, and then I know this one, you can see there's labeled for A, but I don't have an A-axis. So just keep in mind where all these go. And then tools that you'll need, or you can see, of course, you got Phillips head here. You probably use a flathead if you wanted. Flat down there. And my setup that I've used is a Phillips head for these guys on the front. Of course, another long flathead screwdriver to get these screws down here. And then to get the actual card out, you can see back there, I don't know if you can see it, but there's little tiny screws. There's one up on the top and there's one down on the bottom of each card. And what I've used is get a 1/4-inch drive ratchet, get the longest extension you get and make it longer. I think I got a 6-inch and a 4-inch, and then here's a little 1/4-inch socket with my Phillips bit that I use for my drill. And this allows me to finagle into the back and be able to get those screws out. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to undo the screws or loosen up these wires here on both of these cards. I'm gonna switch out the X-axis and the Y-axis. I'm going to loosen up these screws. I'm going to pull them out, and then I'm going to go and unscrew each, and then we're gonna flip this to see where the problem goes, or if it stays. So let me get the camera set up and we'll get to it. One thing I forgot to mention too is, you can see, of course, I got a huge light here, but one thing I really found beneficial is if you get one of these small, little tiny magnetic lights, they fit perfectly up in here and you can shine them down. You can't, I mean, the light over here is you know, overtaking this little tiny light, but if you need to, you can use this little tiny light and you can see down inside. So anyways, quick little tip, and then let me get back to work. Alright guys, so I got the machine turned back on. One thing I forgot to mention during that program is something that I got from the instructions here, but when it was going in the y-axis, remember when I was telling you it was in one direction, it was the light was green and it sounded good. I forgot to tell you that on the other direction, when it turned like the amber color in the back, that it sounded really rough when it was transitioning, you know, that direction. And then I also forgot to mention that the follow error, this number up here, was not 0 or not 1. It's supposed to be, I think, either 0 or 1. So we're really close to 0. You can see here my X is -4. If we go back here, we can go and see. I got everything wired up. And where's that X? There you go, there's the X. So the X is now on the X-axis, and I'm gonna go try and run that program that we've got. All right, it's waiting for me. Let's see what happens. Ready? Gonna transition. All right, it's moving. Huh? What does it say? Emergency stop. X-axis fault as follows. Motor overload. Well, that's interesting. Our error seemed to have followed the amplifier. So what that means is, actually, let's go run it again, just to make sure. Press jog key to reset emergency stop. All right, there we go. You can hear it click in the back. Lights flicker a little bit. All right, we're gonna go back to auto mode. Here's the program I was running. It just basically transitions X, Y, and Z 6 inches back and forth. Goes diagonal. I'm gonna try and push this really quick and run back to the back to go see if we can see anything with the lights on the amps. So, ready? Let's go. Oh, look at it. Up. Looks like we got an error. All the lights are red, and you saw before that the X-axis was the one that was amber. So what that tells me is that that one amplifier card is bad. Good thing, because I got one right here. So the amplifier cards that are in the machine are actually obsolete. And so we got this new one, and if I can get it out carefully, there you go. Let me put the camera down. Get it out carefully. Open this up. Maybe, open up. There we go. There's a brand new card. It's a bummer that there's no like shield or anything over this, but I guess this is what I got to live with. This one, I'll put the part number on the screen. I think it's amp 21 or 0021, but that's basically it. You can see that there's the pots up here that you can adjust. These are also covered in the instructions that I put up on the screen. Since I already showed you guys how to swap these, I'm not going to show you installing this. I'm going to go install it. I'll show you afterwards. You can see here too all the inputs here, it matches what we have on the machine already. It's just a different format. There's no case around or anything. So let me go install it, and then we'll go from there. Alrighty guys, so I got everything installed. I actually had to do a little bit of rearranging. I had to take what was my Y-axis and Z-axis and shift everything over. Well, I guess it was my old X-axis here, and then my Z-axis, I had to shift it over so I could fit this guy in there. The reason for that is if you look down here, you can see a capacitor right back there. That was hitting the back side of this case over here when I was trying to install it. So to try and get things to fit and not have to take apart the case on the other amplifier, I decided to shift everything down and then install it on my Z-axis, because I have no restrictions on this side. So I got everything wired up, you can see here, down there. And I actually went through the tuning process because it's actually super quick once you get everything installed. And just to go over it for you guys, that's the first page. For the amp that I have, which is the amp 21, you have to set the LG and the CL to the middle of the travel and then turn the signal counterclockwise 2 turns. So if we go back to the amp, and this is just to show you guys, LG and CL, if you look on the side here, LG and CL are these two right here. Now these two pots, they only go from, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, I'll say probably the 10 o'clock position, and they spin around to probably the 7 o'clock position. So you have to turn that to be in the middle of that travel. And so I have it more or less horizontal because that's right in the middle. And then for the signal, I turned it counterclockwise 2 turns, but in the end, you actually end up, and on this new card, the signal is this pot right here. You actually end up playing with that to balance your amplifiers in the actual process. But so say you installed this, you adjusted your pots for your initial setup. The first thing you're going to do is the master feed rate clock adjustment. And basically what I did is I actually just followed these instructions and typed in everything. For me, when you do the PR, which is the new program, I'll do it real quick. Enter next command, PR. See what happens. All right, it's going to ask you what you want to do. I've already created a program. I created two programs for myself. One was for the master feed rate clock adjustment, and the other one was this other the DC amplifier loop gain adjustment. So for this program, that's my 1113. And if I switch to another program, 1112 was the first program I made, because that was the first thing I did. Push enter. All right, let's go back to manual, go to auto. 1112, and you can see this has the negative X, positive X, negative X, and it goes back and forth. So what that does, and also if your machine is less than I think it said 40 inches, yeah, less than 40 inches of travel, set your X to, before you start the program, set it to positive 10. For my machine, my X travel is only 20 inches. So with this traveling 20 inches back and forth, I gotta go to positive 10 so it can then traverse back and forth, and so we can use this or do this adjustment. And what this basically does is it travels back and forth, and they say it's supposed to take, let's see, 72 seconds plus 1.5 seconds minus 0. And so what you're gonna do is you run that program, or first you program it, you set it up if you have less than 40 inches, and then you push the green button and it runs. It'll go back and forth a couple of times, and then it's gonna stop. And what you're gonna look at is this number right there. That needs to be 72 seconds plus 1.5 seconds minus 0. So 72 seconds is a minute and 12 seconds. When I did this, I was a little bit high. I think I was 74, which is a minute and 14 seconds. And I had to dial back the, which one was it that I had to adjust? Oh, it was clock card 1020 slot 15, and it's the R6 potentiometer. And that one, it says this is the second potentiometer from the bottom as the card is in the machine. And just to show you, go to slot 15, that one right there. That's the very last card right here. Slide all the way down, right there. Second from the bottom. So I had to adjust that and keep rerunning this program that goes back and forth until I got that cycle time to be that 72 seconds. So you do that, you keep going back and forth, you know, and this process too, you're going to be going from the panel here and running around to the back and adjusting potentiometers and coming back and rerunning it. It's kind of a tedious process, but it's simple. It's if you just go through the steps, you'll be fine. So after I did that, the next program you do is the DC amplifier loop gain adjustment. And so if I go back over here, I'm just going to go through the same steps that they tell you. PR. If this is a brand new one that you haven't programmed it yet, you would do a start new program. I've already done this, so I'm going to switch to another program, which was the one I had in there before. So I'm going to do 1, and then 1, 1, 1, 3 is my program. All right, so it's loaded there. Let's get out of here. All right, 1, 1, 1, 3. And you can see here the L101, X minus 6, Y minus 6, Z minus 6, and then it goes back to 666. So it goes back and forth diagonally, and that's where you start adjusting it. So just to show you, I'll probably just run this one. Actually, let me go back to here. Let's return back to home, just so I can show you this process. All right, go back, go back, go back. All right, I'm there. All right, so what we're gonna do is now, I got this program set up. It's waiting for me to push the green button. What you're gonna do here is you're gonna run this program, and then you're gonna watch, let's see here, push the green button, and it's gonna do that diagonal move. Back and forth, back and forth. And what you're gonna look at is up here, that following error. What they tell you to do is adjust that following error to where it's, if you've got an inch machine, you go to 595. If it's metric, you go to 302. So you adjust this back and forth, the potentiometer, which is the signal one, and we'll go back there real quick to show you which ones that is. For the old amps, or at least the old 15 amps that I have, the signal is this second from the bottom. Second from the bottom right there, same thing there. For the new amp, it's this guy. And so you adjust that back and forth to where you get that following error at 595. You can go tighter if you want, and this is also based on talking to the Brian over at CNCPros. You can make this tighter if you want. You just want to make sure that all three of these are close together. And then once you do that, you want to push this slide hold button, and then you're gonna watch and you can see, oh look, you're gonna have either all zeros or 1, or you're gonna have some number when this is holding its position. When you do that, and if it's not 1, 0, or 1, what you want to do is adjust the balance of the amplifier. And the balance is as you might guess, is the BAL, the BAL potentiometer, which for the new amp is this guy. I don't know if you can see it if it's in focus, but it's this second one down. And then for the older amps, for mine, it's this first one on the bottom. So you want to adjust that while the slide is holding. Or I say slide, it's really it's holding its position. You want to adjust that until you have 0 or 1 there. Once you do that, I think you just keep going. And you do one axis at a time through that. You adjust the 595, slide hold, you adjust the balance for the X. You push cycle start again, you adjust the signal potentiometer, adjust the Y to where the following error is 595, slide hold. While it's holding, you adjust this to either 0 or 1. And you do that X, Y, Z. If you got A axis on there, you can do that too. So you keep doing that, and basically that also covers this right here, the balancing. That's I guess already covered. So that's basically the gist of what you do for balancing your amplifier. If you say you have to, take it out, put it back in there, or replace it and then balance it. Once you do that, then you're good to go. So I think that's it for this video then. I got everything balanced. I'm hoping that due to this, I'll have less air. Oh, excuse me. Less air between my axes, or I'll have more, I'll say, uniform profiles or shapes, or possibly my, one of the original issues that I had was my circles weren't exactly circles when I was machining. I had, I think, a slight variation in one of my, it might have been my Y-axis, which is actually the one I replaced. So things should be hunky-dory now. But anyways, hopefully that this is an informational video for you guys. You guys learned something. I was able to do this all myself. It's my first time doing it. I'm sure you guys could do it. Just follow the directions. And again, I'll try and find a online version or a link to post in the description below. But if not, I will show you this on the screen so you guys can pause it, look at it, or if you guys could see it on the video, you can pause it and read it there. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed, hope you guys learned something, and I'll see you guys in the next one.